Right, so imagine your unconscious mind, which we work with a lot in the Shoreman solution, and you had a 4-year-old version of you, and it was sat in front of you on a chair, and this version would say, I'm shit, I'm rubbish, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm a loser, I never get it right, I always get it wrong, everyone doesn't like me, no one can be my friend. Imagine hearing that.
Yeah.
You'd be beside yourself, stopping this individual, saying it about themselves, yet we do it. We constantly do it. We have this perpetual motion of these negatives, and it's self-cruelty. It's crazy.
Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk is only. Don't just talk it, walk it. Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk is only. Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk is only.
Vinnie Shoreman, how you doing, brother?
Very good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolute pleasure.
I've been watching you for a while and seeing you on social media, and I think we should always look up to people, as in if they're in similar like careers as yourself, and see them as like aspiring to what can I learn off someone. So
thank you. It's highly flattering, but I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
It's weird, innit? Compliments is another one. We struggle with compliments.
I don't. I don't. No. I don't, because I think it's a show. If someone's showing you appreciation, you show your appreciation back by taking it. I think when we're given a compliment and we knock it back, I think does two things. Number one, we don't get the benefit of the energy that you're receiving, and secondly, you're calling the other person a liar. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that you're bigger than me.
No.
So no, I appreciate every single nice comment that I get, and and I appreciate it. So thank you.
No, good. I think it's purely, I think we should just try and inspire to try and, well, what are like, I like to see it as like, what personality traits have, like, if you're in a similar line of work or you do something, you're always trying to see, where's this commonologies?
One sec, where have I put my phone?
Did you have it on you? Because I remember you said you're trying to turn it off. You good?
Sorry. Sorry.
You're all right.
Sorry, I thought I'd left it on. Worried.
Well, Vin, obviously, you do a lot. You're very much in the mindset world and hypnotherapy as well, and work with a lot of fighters. A lot of people use you for that area, but you actually work with everyone.
I work with everyone. It's a misconception. Of course, I was on Joe Rogan a few times, and and Joe said he works with fighters. I do, yes. But with everyone, I like the job that much that you can't restrict it to any just certain area. People can, I'm sure, but I've been working with everybody, so I enjoy it all.
If you don't mind me asking, what got you into this path? Essentially, like, was it always in you to have this empathetic part of you, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been an empath. I think it was something I was born with. I never liked people being upset. Used to play games with me. If you got someone crying, invoked something within me that to try and stop that or cry with them. And since then, it's been in me. And then from school, I never really found out I was good at making people laugh, messing about, etc. But I got into it via problems I was having with a relationship that was turbulent, to say the least, and fell off the tracks, if you will, and found my way back on them. Luckily, via reading books, listening to people, and searching a different path in life.
Nice. What were you doing then before, getting into the mindset coaching and stuff like that?
I did various jobs. I didn't really have a specific skill. I had a Thai boxing gym. I used to teach Thai boxing in the evenings. I had various jobs like labouring on building sites. I worked at a youth club on the grounds of like cutting grass and all that sort of business. Jobs that really couldn't keep my attention. So I wasn't very good at them, because that wasn't what I wanted to be. And then luckily life took a dark turn in a way. And from that, put me on the path to doing this, which is, an absolute joy of a job, if I'm honest. It has its challenges, but I love it.
Yeah. It must be, it is rewarding, and seeing someone change and see essentially the light, or transform their daily habits and whatnot. it's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massively powerful. I mean, you know, to see someone, I like the aspect of alleviating fear. I think that's one of the things, the aspects that sticks with me mostly, is to see people alleviate from fear and become a happier person. You know, we're all terminal.
Yeah.
You got to remember that we're all terminal, aren't we? With regardless of whatever time constraints we have, we have those limits. However, it's the in between the birth and death where we've got to have a good time. So that's what we try and do. I like making people happy. Yeah, I like it.
Well, I think you said, I don't know if you said it here, but you said you were a bit of a joker in school and stuff like that. I think I used to be, well, I still think I am a bit of a joker, because sometimes I'm around here and then if they ever anyone said to me, what do you do? And I say, I do mindset coaching or something like that. They're like, really? I couldn't picture you too much of a joker, because I think it's like, why are we designed to be? Do you have to be a certain person as serious all the time to be serious? You know what I mean? I
think people get this idea of psychiatrists, don't they? Lying on a leather couch and we making notes with glasses on and yes, and how did that make you feel and blah, blah, blah. There's some aspects of that, obviously making notes and asking that question. But I mean, you know, it's become a more readily available thing to people to be able to delve into the what goes on between their ears, you know.
So when you started, obviously, you've been in the game now with 30 years, or 20 years?
It'll be 20 years in 2007, so 18 years.
Wow. And I just try to think, like, if you bring it back, I know...
18 years? No, it's not. From 2007, so I'm not far off 20 years.
I'm just trying to think, if you go 20 years back, I wonder, like, even if we just speak about men, for instance, like, it would have been a harder thing to cut back then. I'd say, like, people would see this perception of what you're doing and be like,
you're mad, aren't you? If you go and see a mindset coach or a mind coach, like I'm, whatever, you're round the bend. People just to see your hypnotherapy for smoking, and that was it. Or people on TV making them do various crazy stuff, Paul McKenna, etc. And the stigma is that, you know, you go and see a mind coach because you're around the bend. You want to understand yourself and get a better view of life. Yeah, it's essential. Massively. It's essential.
I just think about it as in, like, for instance, in rugby, when I was playing rugby or with whoever's playing in a sport, right? 90% of people are training pretty much similar. Yeah. They turn up to the gym, they do their work, they do the cup, they eat clean, X, Y, and Z. They do all the physical aspects. But I always think, if you could just add 1 or 2% to the mind, how much difference does that do then when you go into a fight, or if you're going onto the field, or if you're going into a workspace? Yeah. It's just that difference that it takes between winning and losing sometimes.
It's the differences that make a difference. I mean, the thing is, your mindset's everything. I mean, you can train, so for instance, as a fighter, you can train, you can be on weight, you can, strength and conditioning's gone well, sparring's good, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you get that doubt in your head, it poisons. It's a bit like anthrax. Anthrax is only a tiny amount of poison, but we could kill like thousands of people. Same thing, like putting a red sock in a white wash, everything goes pink. So it's essential. It's absolutely essential. I just think that everything, you know, strength and conditioning does a great job. They do. They're great people, great nutritionists, and etc. I know some good ones. Condition Nutrition's very good. Or Sean Aspinall, that's another one from Origin Project. Great guys. Yeah. They do their job, but it's that little bit of doubt, that whisper, that little bit of knocking on the back of your head saying, oh, by the way, do you remember this when you were 4? So you get random thoughts, and if you can't control those random thoughts, or you haven't had understandings of the random thoughts or the rule sets that you've got, they can cause you big problems.
It's interesting because you definitely see this. Some of the best fighters probably leave their best work in the boxing in training than actually in the fight night.
Yeah, I mean, the training camps are hard for fighters, aren't they? In any combat sport's not easy. I've seen some very talented people turn into somebody else from the ring from the changing rooms to the ring. They turn into somebody else. They turn into a different person, and good and bad. Yeah. So negative where they fall to bits, and positive where they turn into the star that they actually are. You know. But I see it in any walk of life. You know, you see people coming into my room, to my office, and they seem one person, and then they leave another, which I love. That's the best thing of the job, is to see the alleviation of fear. It's that's the passion I have for it, you know.
I did a podcast maybe a couple of weeks ago now with Mike Grundy. What a guy he is.
Yeah. I know who he is.
Yeah, he's a wrestler. He
is. He's a good, very, very good
from
one
Wigan.
as well. That's right. He's trained at Carbon and Four Corners. Yeah, good guy. He's a nice guy, him too.
And he said something to me. He goes, I love the feeling that when I'm in the ring or wrestling someone and you just see something in their eyes when they're absolutely gone. The lactic acid is built up and you see I've beat you mentally. Yeah. And they're just gone. He said, he goes, I love the grind. And it was, when he said it was as if he was piercing it through his eyes. And it was just a powerful thing. I thought, yeah, some people love it, like do actually love it. Some people look probably flash all the time in the training, and then when it gets to the latter end,
nitty gritty. The thing is, I mean, it's not for everyone, and I say this a lot. Combat's not for everyone. It certainly wasn't for me. I'm capable, but it's not my passion. I like the actual movements and stuff like that, but the actual blood and thunder, really. I mean, I'm 54, so it's obviously that. But it's not for everyone. But it's like one of those things where the trouble is with being some fighters, not all of them, but some, they think that what they can do solves their problems. So when they get too old, when they get past it, when they get or they have a loss, it makes them question everything about who they are. Yeah. So it's good to get that sorted out. To get not the ego in check, but get the reality of who you really are. Because it's difficult. They question everything. They lose, and then they become not this man, not this person, and everything's the worst thing ever. Which I get, because they put all the passion into it. But it's not all you are. Yeah, a bus driver's not. You don't call him
not identified
the bus driver. He's got a name. He's got a family, or she, whoever.
Yeah, it's essentially, it shouldn't define you. But
that's what people believe. Yeah, they think it defines them, and that's who they are.
It's interesting because I think about that when I was playing rugby and stuff. And in school, I was not smart, but I was good at sports. Yeah. So my ego was just filled the whole time I was playing sports. And then you were identified. But
the thing is, sorry to interrupt you, but it's like off the cuff remark about yourself there, where you just said, I wasn't smart. You focus your smartness on something else. Yeah. Your passion was something else, and that's where it's individualized, I certainly have grown more in intelligence aspects, more in my 40s and 50s, as I said, I'm 54, than I did when I was younger, because I didn't really have any direction. When you focus your direction on rugby, I'm sure he was an exceptional rugby player. Well, then that's intelligence, isn't it? Yeah. It's not because you just didn't find school stimulating. That's okay. Doesn't mean to say that you're stupid or...
No, I wouldn't say stupid. I just think, I suppose as well, if it's not fun, if it's not if you're not that person who likes to sit still and get in the class, I like to be out and about.
Yeah, it's directed in a different way.
Yeah, but then as you get older, like you said, reading books, educating yourself on things which do interest you, you can educate yourself in other aspects to... You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. It's neuroplasticity, isn't it? It's like the brain can still learn. And people think you can't. One of the sayings that's the most ridiculous saying ever is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, firstly, I'm not a dog. And secondly, I don't need to learn tricks. I'm not a magician. So there's like that limit on what you can actually learn. Learning aspects you can learn all the time. Physical constraints, I understand that. It's obvious. Because it's time constraints and all that sort of physiology. However, with intelligence, with learning, with gaining new skill sets, if you use the word skills, that's always possible. Always.
Yeah. Vin, with all of the athletes and experience that you've got in the game, right, what is one of the most inspiring stories you've heard from, in particular, with any of your people, your prospects or people, clientele you've worked with?
There's a lot. Of
anyone that in particular that just
there's a lot where there's just normal clients, normal meaning they're not sports people, and I've seen many sort of almost miraculous things. I think one that sticks out to me where it kind of put me on the path is when my friend Liam Harrison, who's an 8-time world champion, wonderful athlete, incredibly gifted individual, hard-working guy, so nothing was given to him. When he fought a fighter called Anawat Kiao Samlit from Thailand, who he'd lost to previously, been stopped by with leg kicks. And we worked together on a focus point of the warrior. So we used a hypnosis process to help him fight. And I was commentating on that. And if you ever hear the commentary with me commentating on Liam, it's extremely biased. So don't be surprised if you hear it and it's biased. And Liam in round 4. So round 4 is very important in Muay Thai and Thai boxing because they call it the money round. It's where the gamblers, because gamblers in stadiums, put the most money on it. And in round 4, Liam just looked between his coach and me, and he was, because I was ringside obviously commentating, and he mouthed the word warrior at me. He doesn't remember it. I remember it distinctly. He just looked at me and he went, warrior. And then he went on to beat Anawat on points, which was an absolute amazing feat. And then afterwards he came over and he thanked over the ropes. He said thank you to me. And since then, it's sort of like, I knew it worked. I knew hypnosis worked. Look, I don't just do hypnosis. It's lots of stuff. But,
of course.
I knew then that there was something there with it. I don't profess to be the world's greatest hypnotherapist. And I just want to say to anyone out there who says on Instagram, you're the most powerful or you're the greatest hypnotherapist ever, I will tell you distinctly, you're a liar.
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing. Stop with this nonsense. But it winds me up. I actually did a video on Instagram and I've deleted it. Because I don't believe that I'm the greatest thing ever. And you're not. You're certainly not the greatest hypnotherapist. How are you the greatest hypnotherapist ever? How are you the most powerful? It's a process. It's something we skill set, we learn, and we pass on. It's not about because it's ego.
That's
then
ego.
It's ego and selling points. Look, the world's greatest hypnotist, the fastest hypnotherapist in the world, right? Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Again, then though, you want to ask yourself, what's your intention behind being
and
this?
that's not helping.
Because if you're doing it to rub your own ego, then you're not essentially there for the right purpose of helping others.
Exactly. What about like books like I Can Make You Thin? I can. Really? Thanks for that. Yeah. Because you can say to me, don't eat this, don't eat that, and if I do, then I don't eat this and don't eat that. I make myself thin. You give me the opportunity. You can't make anyone. Can you make me give up smoking? No, I can't. I can help you and assist you do it. I can assist you in your business and this and this, whatever mindset. Yes, I can help. However, I can't make anything. Yeah. So these go like sleep and look at me. I mean, I do them. You've seen on Instagram, sleep and put people on rapid inductions. And they look great and all that sort of stuff. But there's a process behind it. It's a selling point. Yeah, it looks great. I'm not going to say that I don't like the flashy parts of hypnosis. I do. However, I don't like I'm the fastest, greatest hypnotherapist. Yeah. Really? Have a day off. Yeah, have a day off, man. I don't profess to be the best at anything. I'm just better than I was yesterday. Yeah. That's all it is.
I like that. I think it's like being like a student of life, essentially. You're always trying to learn. I think that's, part and parcel of life. If you're learning, you're moving forward, right? Yeah. If you're not learning and you're doing these things because I'm the greatest, you're not really learning anymore. You're just chucking a fake title up there.
Well, there's no competition, is there? It's like, how do you have a competition? The world's most powerful hypnotherapist I seen on a reel the other day, and I thought, who said that? You. And did you test yourself against other hypnotherapists? It's like a hypnotherapy fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Hogwarts or something, or Jedi's. Really? Yeah. I'm the most powerful hypnotherapist. No, you're not. You're not. I'm not, you're not. And if they say they're not, keep away from them because they're all about themselves. Yeah. You've got to be able to want to make people, help people. And there's no such thing as altruistic giving. So altruistic means that you get something back. I get something back off it. I get paid. Yeah. So I get energy. But I also get the fact that they look and seem happier.
It's powerful, isn't it?
Oh, it's massively powerful. I love the job. But anyone that goes, I can make this and I can make that, ta-ra, job.
Yeah. You're in the wrong intentions.
Indeed.
I remember this one time in Australia, sounds similar to an aspect of you where you hit this, shit stage of your life and you're kind of lost and you lose your confidence, lose your self-belief. And I remember this one time I started trying to surround myself with better people. She's kind of, And I remember this one guy, he's a Fijian, he goes, hey, you should come to this shelter with me on Sunday. And he goes, just serve food to people. And I just stood there and I just served food.
Yeah.
But it was a selfless act, but it was a selfish measure. Like, it felt so rewarding to help others.
Yeah, of course.
That it was like, wow, like, if people humbled themselves and did this, and I think the world's all about connecting and community.
If people did it, we'd be of a better place, wouldn't we? What's wrong with helping people out? I'm always at it. Yeah. I don't put it on Facebook. I don't put it on the internet. I don't go and look at me. But I do a lot of things for people. Yeah. I like it. I just genuinely like it. It's just something where, you know, and if that was a catchable disease, instead of, you know, taking pictures of you knew this or you knew that or where you've been, which I understand people want to share it. I get that. I'm not against people doing that, but instead of like, clamoring to be noticed, get that human connection. And I think it's sad, really, because we've got phones and we should be more connected.
100%.
Really, but we're not. It's like Texas. It makes me laugh. Sorry, I do digress.
Please do, mate.
It's like Texas. It's like you get a text and then they've said, and they said, I'll be there at about 9 o'clock. And you're like, how did the text say that? Like, you interpret what you think onto that thing. So I always ring people. Yeah. Do you know, I really hate voice notes. Oh. Yeah, what it is, and then blah. I ain't got time to listen to a 4-minute voice note. Ring me. Want to ask me something? Ring me. Yeah. If I can't answer, I'll answer you later. Ring me. Not these voice notes. Yeah, what it is. It's like a walkie-talkie then, isn't it? Yeah, over. And it's like, no. So I think that phones disconnect people. But I think what's lacking in the world is empathetic nature. People think that kindness is weakness. It's far from it, you know. But like I said, helping people, like you just said, helping people out, doing shelters and stuff like that, you realise that it's not all about stuff, things. No, popularity.
Yeah. Was it in particular time for yourself, Vin, where it was like, oh, this helping others is powerful? I like, was it a moment for you where obviously your whole journey for 20 years doing it in Muay Thai? Muay Thai, I think, is like any physical aspect sport. You work hard together, you train hard together, and you build a connection from being in the trenches together. I don't know if that was what you felt as well.
Yeah, I did. I mean, of course, and I've got friends that lifelong friends that still do the sport, and I was very lucky. A lot of them have got really successful gyms, or they've gone on to be successful. One of my friends is an actor who's done really well. Warren Brown was he was in Luther and various things. A really good actor, great guy, and it connects people in a way where, you know, they can do so well. It gives you the tenacity for things, for life. But Muay Thai's been so good to me that I can't help but still love it, you know. But is it one particular time? No, I could say one thing now and come back tomorrow and tell you something else. I'm a very, very blessed individual, and I know it, and I don't forget it. And some days I have bad days, good days. We all do.
All do.
But one thing I've strived for is a connection with me. So one thing I have stopped, which I think is really good advice for you and for anyone else who's watching, is stop the self-ridicule. I think once we border on this, we do it as English people. We kind of like, not English people. Sorry.
I was going to say, Vin.
I was going to say, sorry, brother. My granddad was Welsh, so
nice.
It's okay.
Where in Wales?
Mould.
Oh, Mould. Okay, yeah.
So my granddad was Welsh, so I'm all right. So I'm still on your side. He is Mould. So what it is like, it's just, the ridicule thing is, as the UK, we tend to ridicule ourselves. And what that does is it poisons the water that you're swimming in. Yeah. If that makes sense. Because you're calling yourself names like, I wasn't bordering. So even if what you just said, reading between the lines, you were saying you weren't very smart.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I get
and I hear that. And I've only met you for the first time today. Really nice guy and everything like that. And that fellow who's done the
great
car.
Great guy.
Great guy. And I go off that. But it's the ridicule. Once you start ridiculing yourself all the time, it's not egotistical to be a fan of yourself in a way where I want to be better than I was yesterday. I want to learn something that I didn't learn yesterday or today. And I think once you start calling yourself stupid or I'm thick or I'll never do this, never do that, it keeps you at a glass ceiling. It keeps you where you think you can be. Now, it's not talking about success. It's not talking about you have to have this high-powered job and got all these things. But even living day-to-day, feeling better about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, not this spectacular, no, I want to get on my own. If that's what you want, fabulous. I'm all for that. Round of applause for you if you'd get it or you do it. But it's the ridicule. I'm stupid. Oh, that's because I forgot me, but I always forget things. Yeah, I always forget things. I've got a rubbish memory. You just pour all this.
That's bad, yeah.
Well, it's negative graffiti, isn't it? In the wall of your life. That's a bit deep, wasn't it?
No, I like that, Vin. It's true, mate, though, because we reflect. Like, you know, you reflect on parts and you go, hang on, why did this happen here and why did that happen here?
Yeah.
And you go, before you know it, you've opened up the box sometimes and you've gone
the
down
Pandora's box. It's metaphorical, and that's what it means. It's like, you know, you're opening a can of worms, so to speak. But you know, right?
Yeah. It's just it's really interesting to hear the way you talk and the thought process of everything, and it's. I suppose when you're in it, you pick it up more than ever, right? Like you pick up patterns.
Mate,
you can't switch it up. You
can't. It's diet. Think about it, right? So imagine your unconscious mind, which we work with a lot in the Shoreman solution, and you had a 4-year-old version of you, and it was sat in front of you on a chair, and this version would say, "I'm shit. I'm rubbish. I'm stupid. I'm ugly. I'm fat. I'm a loser. I never get it right. I always get it wrong. Everyone doesn't like me. No one can be my friend." Imagine hearing that.
Yeah.
You'd be beside yourself, stopping this individual, saying it about ourselves, yet we do it. We constantly do it. We have this perpetual motion of these negatives, and it's self-cruelty. It's crazy.
That's when you talk about that then, though, Vin, one thing I'll say about that, for instance, man, is I think we struggle to tell other people they're doing good, or like if you're doing really good, right? There's some form of some people's form of jealousy in us. I'm being mindful of what I say, the way I say it, but we don't like to see other people do well. And like, instead of like, I think it's a big thing if you're having a crack, you're having a go. I'm your biggest fan. I'm like, go at it.
Yeah.
What have I got to lose? It's like, you know what? You're going to level me up.
Yeah.
If I'm surrounded by you and you're going for it, then I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes it's a reflection of ourselves.
I think you've got to be at home with who you are. I don't suffer jealousy. I don't at all. If people are doing well, I'm glad. I love it. When people do well, why would I not be glad?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. There was a commentator of the year award in the sport I'm in, and I didn't want to be in it. I did win it, but I didn't want. I did win it
just to let you know.
No, but I didn't want to be in it because I didn't want to. I didn't want anyone else to feel like they weren't.
Why?
Because it makes them feel bad. But what for? What's the? I didn't need it. I didn't need it. I know what I've done, and I know where I've been, and I know who I am. But I'm of an age where you can get that. It takes maturity as well. I'm never ever going to associate me in maturity. But I mean, you know, I'm at home with who I am, and it takes a long time to get that. What you've just said there, where he says where people don't want to do well, is because they think they're in a competition. Life is not a competition. Unless you're an athlete and you're a fighter and stuff like that, and you've got to win certain things. But it's always still going to be mainly about yourself, fighting yourself. You know? But I mean, as for jealousy and ripping other people apart, I don't see the purpose. No. I used to do it. Don't get me wrong. I used to do it. 100%. Yeah. But I was very good at it. I was very good at putting other people down, because if you're good at picking people up, you're good at putting them down. It's the same thing. But the energy is different. For me, though, I like people doing well. Everyone, these stories of triumph are great. That's what the human psyche has. People do like stories of triumph, really. They don't like anything that you've ever looked up to or anything you've listened to, metaphorically, like, I don't know, Goldilocks, you know. Oh, she was a bit of a bitch, wasn't she? Eating all that porridge and that. Didn't like her. But Red Riding Hood, when the dad the woodcutter kills the wolf and whatever, there's always an ending, a happy ending. It's funny. I've never told anyone this, but when I was a kid and I wanted to see a certain movie, if the book came out and it was in the shop, I'd flick through the book to see the ending. Oh. I don't know why. I think there was an insecurity within that wanted me to know that everything's going to be all right. So I've never mentioned that before. And I just think that everyone wants everything to be all right. Everybody wants to feel happy. And I don't see why you shouldn't be glad if people doing stuff well.
I think, definitely. It's just, it could be, like you said, you're comfortable with yourself. What you
comfortable
said
in your own skin, you know.
It's a powerful thing, I think, when you can shift it, because I think it's easier to find the negatives in everything. Like there's negatives everywhere. You can see
we're designed that way.
Yeah,
we are designed to, I think, 3 times more likely to think of a negative than we are of a positive. I think we are designed that way, and it's designed for survival. Because if you go skipping down the road, la 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 la, and then you get hit by a saber-toothed tiger or you get hit by a crocodile. If you're not aware of danger. Why do mice move so quick? They don't, you can't say, come on to a mouse and it's just going to jump, 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 because it's designed to survive. So I think in our reptilian brain, we have this survival mechanism that, designed to see threat. Yeah. And when we see threat, we can see threat and everything. And because we're not hunted anymore, and then we use that apparatus in a different way.
Yeah, I get that. I want to ask us a little bit off the topic, but obviously you talked about earlier, you've been on the Joe Rogan podcast and things like that. Yeah. How did you find jumping on the show like that, where you're talking about your profession, talking about what you can do? Was there any form of nerves in it at the start? Because do you ever find... 100%. I was going to massively, but I mean, because I think about it sometimes, like, depending on what clientele you might coming in, like, it's different horses for courses for some people. Yeah. And one way you treat one person might be totally different than how you treat another. And you're trying to explain that to someone on the processes. Well, not just the process. We're on the Joe Rogan podcast and you're trying to, you had the Liam next to you as well. So there's your proof in the pudding.
Yeah, I did it twice without Liam.
Oh, that's right.
So
yes.
I've been twice on my own and twice with Liam, which are both great opportunities. If I watch Joe Rogan now from the first time I did it now, I'm a completely different person to who I was. I've got so much more knowledge because that's what I search for. Yeah. Not because I'm better than anyone else, that's better than I was. So looking at it now would change wouldn't be the same person as I am now, So, I mean, the first time I went on it must be 8 years ago.
I think it was seen one episode
632. Yeah, the first one. And I'm a different person to what I was then. But it was a test for me. It was a test for me to prove, because look, I had to hypnotise Joe Rogan, as you're aware. Yeah. And if I hadn't, I would have been a failed hypnotherapist who went on Joe Rogan. That's what the fact of it would have been.
So you're yourself, making sure.
Well, no, because I knew what the training that I had was very good. I didn't say I'm the world's greatest hypnotherapist, did I? Because I hypnotised Joe Rogan. I'm the greatest hypnotherapist in the world. No, I knew that the hypnotherapy works, and if it done in the right way, and for a receptive person like Joe, then it was perfect. And I was very honoured and very flattered, and he's continued to mention me. And I've got a lot of love and respect for him, because he's helped me out massively and got me to helped me get where I am today. So I appreciate him always.
Of course, man. It's amazing. It's amazing. Obviously, it's amazing for me to see someone like you on there, like just deserving what you're getting.
Thank you.
It's a recognition of what you do. And I did see something online. I wanted to ask you, did you do work with Cody Garbrandt?
No.
You didn't? Okay.
No, I didn't. I was going to. So he rang me and we had a FaceTime. And then he said, right, I want to start working with me. And I said, okay. And then I don't know what happened. Things just didn't transpire. There's no disrespect to him, or he wasn't disrespect to me. There was no angst. Not sure why. Still message him now and again. Good luck and stuff, Cool. But he put it on Twitter. It's going to be the mind coach, and then it's Vinny Shoreman. Yeah, so thanks for that, Cody. But no, we didn't do any work with him per se. We did talk about a few problems. I did work with Eddie Alvarez, who was at the time. He was a top guy. And Ian McCall, who fought Demetrius Johnson. Back in the day.
What was Eddie like?
Lovely.
Yeah,
lovely guy. Suffered from nerves badly. You wouldn't think it. Tough man, but a very, very nice individual. I've not really worked with anyone that I didn't like. You know, they're always pretty much all right people, nice people. You know,
that's good. I think to do something what they're doing is coming to you. I think they're in a position where they're like this guy might change the whole trajectory where I'm going right now. Do you know what I mean? So it's that I think you're gonna put the ego to the side and the power to the side and be like, mate,
I don't change anything, they change it. I just suggest.
That's true.
Postman of information. That's all I am. Is I offer the show the direction to where you should be going. It's up to you to walk the path, you know. That's what I think.
Yeah. If I was to ask you then, obviously you said earlier, like all of us, we have our good days and bad days. What do you do on a bad day to bring Vinny back?
Moan, like everybody else. Complain. Kick off in your own mind. You know, get pissed off. I'm human. Don't sit there and meditate and get in the cold bath and go for a 2-hour walk and drink bulletproof coffee. It's nice though.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, you're on that diet at the moment.
I am. What do I do? I just accept it. I have a good support system around me. I have good people.
That's good.
You know, I talk all the time. It's not a surprise I do this job. But I talk to people and I admit when I'm having a bad day or I'm pissed off, you know? And I just... bring it forefront, bring it to the surface, and see it for what it is. No one has a wonder. It's not Disneyland.
Yeah.
We don't live in Disneyland. No. Some days are absolutely horrendous. Some days aren't. But you know, the ones that aren't, I enjoy. A great day today coming down to see you. I've seen a great client, my friend Jonathan from Leeds, who's just been a client of mine. Top guy, love talking to him, and then I get to come down here, meet you, and then meet the ultra marathon guy.
Yeah,
Carl, it's like I'm a bit. I don't know, a bit like Christmas. It's like kind of like Christmas. I've got a lot of good friends who I love dearly, and I couldn't be where I am, who I am, without who they are. I'm a family, of course. So.
It's powerful, that is. It's amazing to hear that, because it's exciting when you're coming across people that fill your cup up. You know what I mean? Heavy conversations sometimes can drain us, and but when you're going, you know what? Today I've had a really good day. I meant to meet this guy, did this, come to this podcast, met this guy, and sometimes it's people you never met me before. I've never met you before. You've never met Cal before, but then, oh wow, what a great connection that was. What a great conversation that was. And then you're leaving. Like, I think sometimes I or everyone, we play in our boxes sometimes of this is my town that I grew up in.
Yeah,
we've got to stay here. These are my people.
Yeah,
and not just get out of the box a little bit and go see what's. Oh, they do this. Okay, and just get to know other aspects.
What do they plant in their garden? How come that's? I like that plant. You know what I mean? Or, you know, how do you get rid of them weeds? Or, you know what I mean? It's just about. I embrace everybody.
Yeah,
I'm interested in everyone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Mostly. Except people that say I'm a most powerful hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
It's my gripe at the minute.
It's getting you at the minute.
No, it's my gripe at the moment. It'll be something else next week.
But it's like, I was about to say, sorry, mate, but for instance, whenever I used to go on holidays as a family with Dad, Dad would have UK food while you're in Spain, and I'm like, try a different cuisine while you're here, mate. Do you know what I mean? Just try and...
Yeah, I think, but if that's indoctrined in them,
you
know, if that's what people want to do, I'm all for it. If people want to do whatever they want to do, as long as it's not hurting animals, hurting unconsensual people, and causing anybody else upset, crack on.
Yeah.
You know, people want to take drugs, up to them. I'm not one of these, you shouldn't, because we know they shouldn't.
Yeah.
People know they shouldn't, but it's what they do is what they do. But I like the energy from you straight away, and I always go in with an open mind, you know. I don't have an idea of what I want to try and get over and stuff. I just do where it goes, you know.
I appreciate that, because I every time I have podcasts, I have like maybe 3 or 4 dot points, but I know the way I am. I'm going to just talk, and this conversation's going to just go on a...
Yeah, it's easy work.
But that's how life should be, right?
That's how it is.
Yeah.
You know, you don't don't go out with a set of rules to talk about in the pub, do you? Or you don't. If you talk to someone on the train or something, when you get, hang on, I just get my subjects out of what I want to talk about. No, you just go with what the unconscious presents to you.
What's been the if I was to say to you, what's been an experience that you've had, which a pivotal moment in your life?
What a lot. What a lot. I lead a blessed life. This is I've had so many, and they haven't happened weekly, because I recognise it for what it is. I've had so many, so many. I remember when I first commentated for it, Showtime, which was a big kickboxing organisation from Holland. Now I work of a subsidiary of that. It's called Infusion, and I still do that on a regular basis. But I remember being in Amsterdam Arena, and I was stood there, and there was 26,000 people, and there was all laughing. Was a very Christian, Catholic lady, believed in the good Lord above, etc. And she lived by that and died by that, funnily enough, because she wasn't scared of death, which I was happy about. But yeah, I mean, a faith in something. There was a faith in something, and I've still got a faith in something. Can't say I nail it down to one thing, but I still believe in the magic of life, really. I see these things on a regular basis, clients that tell you stories that are just horrific. There's only one problem with the world, and that's people, really, or the wrong people,
Yeah.
But and I see magic in all sorts. I really do. Magic in talent, magic in just people who just think that they're just people, but they're not. They're far from it. They're very special individuals.
I listened to the Hot Boxing podcast with Mike Tyson and Francis Ngannou. I don't know if you heard it, but he said something to Francis Ngannou. He goes, "Do you know you're a gift from God? You are." He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "No, you're one of God's favorites, but just remember, you're one of the devil's favorites too."
Yeah,
and I was like,
"It's a fine line. There's a fine line between triumph and tragedy. A fine line. Depends on where you step. Depends on where you step."
I was thinking about you coming here today, and I was like, I wonder if this is not a similar, but like I thought of Mike Tyson today and Customado.
Yeah.
And I was thinking you're the Customado potentially to some of these fighters like Liam and other people you've worked with, and because Customado wasn't just a coach.
None of them are. None of them are. I go to a boxing gym that's local to me called in Holmes Chapel, where I live, and I love it, but I admire them for what they're doing for the kids. And all amateur boxers are like that. All amateur coaches, martial arts coaches, yeah. But these amateurs, they bring in these kids that don't know the left hand for the right hand to bring them into. They might not be consummate professionals, but they be capable of at least having something to know about themselves, about be able to coordinate themselves better. And I love that. I love that. Passion they have for helping others. It's essential in life. I think it certainly was for me. If I hadn't found Thai boxing or boxing, I'd have probably been dead.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I was the type of kid that would try drugs. I'd say, let's have some of this. Go on then, man, because round the bend.
Yeah.
And I would have done it. Cocaine would have suited me down to the ground because I'm a hyper anyway. So it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
People who were like mates, or they would have said, oh, let's think of it like this. 6 weeks holidays, I always think this. And then you 6 weeks holidays and then someone gets some heroin. You don't even know what it is. Oh, this brown stuff, you can smoke it and it makes you feel all blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, let's try it. You try it one day, then you say, oh, should we get it again? You put your money together and get it again. By the time 6 weeks holidays is finished, you're addicted. You don't know because you don't think.
Yeah.
You think they might, and then they use it to block out things that are horrific.
Yeah.
That was rather be in another world than the one we're in, because their experiences of what they've gone through can be horrific. That's not every case, of course. That some people just like it and just take it because they didn't have a bad life. But the majority of things, I would think that you use those type of narcotics to get you away from the world. So the people that stave that, like Holmes Chapel, Kev, Zoe, and Kerry, who run it, and all the other helpers, I think that is vital to the world. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
and I try and help the gym as much as I can,
Amazing. When I was younger, my dad, me being small, my dad said to me, well, son, you're probably gonna have to defend yourself a lot playing rugby or in life, so you better learn how to box.
Yeah.
So he took me when I was 12 or 13 boxing. And it was the most confronting but amazing feeling ever.
Yeah.
It builds so much respect for yourself.
Yeah.
I felt you built so much confidence in yourself that it's not as if you're going around, I was young, but it was never I was going around like looking for fights, because I was never like that. But I felt confident to walk around bigger people in school or whatnot. And I just felt, I reflect on that. But one thing I say about the guy there, his name was Aubrey, he was in Puthcall in South Wales, and the gym was small, community based. It was crammed with kids. Yeah. We had gypsies come down sometimes and we'd go sparring with them. Yeah. And just the way they would come in. And I loved the difference of people. Like, you know, like the dads would come in, the kids would come in. They'd kick the shit out of us and get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's such an eclectic mix.
Yeah.
And I've seen it through Thai boxing and boxing and stuff, and it's just an eclectic mix of people. And look, I never want to lay my hands on anyone again. Never want to get into any altercations. I don't want to hit anyone ever again. However, I just like hitting stuff.
Yeah.
I like moving so I don't get hit by stuff. I don't know. It's just something what I address. More like dancing to me. It's just an enjoyable sport, and I'm very lucky for the couple of gyms at Derby Lane in Liverpool and Holmes Chapel where I train. I love it.
It's amazing.
I think it's strange because everywhere I've lived, there's been a boxing club within 3 minutes of my house. Literally 3 minutes. Macclesfield, where I lived where I used to live, right now, it was literally 200 yards from my house.
Really? Great
people there. And then another gym in Liverpool, again, 3 minutes away from my house, and now Holmes Chapel, 3 minutes from my house. So it's something's knocking on the door telling me to go, innit?
Yeah, it is. It's maybe as well just like the energy that you bring and the intentions you have maybe takes you to these places. Like someone said it to me once, like you could drop a druggie anywhere in the world and he will find drugs.
Well, the saying is, birds of a feather flock together. So there is a saying in that. It's strange how we gravitate towards people. There's all sorts of weirdness that we don't understand. And we need things more than we actually think. There's an actual a real thing where I think it was when there was the Croatian, the Bosnian War. I think there was a hell of a lot of orphans in a very big ward hospital, and the other children were babies. Really couldn't really get any. The nurses had to go and feed them and all that. But they found that they died early because they didn't get any human interaction. Wow. So because no physical touch, they died early. They just didn't. They ceased to exist. Wow. And people understand that people need people. So instead of texting people, ring them. You want to? My friend's dad died recently. Very sad, very very nice guy whose father passed away, and he put it on Facebook, and people say, "Oh, I hope this is all right." Ring him. I rang him. And people say, oh, I don't want to ring him, I don't want to disturb him. Disturbing by going, it's not disturbing by going, listen, I'm here for you if you need me.
Yeah.
I can come down, or no problem. The phone's always on, the door's always open. Not, I didn't want to, because people don't feel like they're imposing. It's not. When people need you the most, ring them.
Yeah.
Don't text them.
Voice note them. Don't voice note them.
Don't voice them. Then I'll leave it now. No, you understand what I'm saying? Ring them. Are you all right? How are you? You need anything? Do you need to talk? No problem. That's what you should do. Not leave it.
Yeah, yeah.
No. Well, leave it till after the funeral.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's one thing you said then, and it like brought a book. I can't remember what the book was called, right? But it's basically talking about how, like, in the most westernized countries ever, we're the most loneliest now. Like, so anxiety and depression is at highest. And they did a study where the lowest states of anxiety was in remote countries, in villages, in little, in the, like, out back somewhere, where the communities get around each other. Yeah. And it was so true and so obvious. Like, we crave connection, we crave community. Yeah. They're massive parts of us as humans. And then I think it's crazy to think these countries were like millions and millions and millions of population, but we're the loneliest some places, and it's
because we don't share anything. It's interesting. So the COVID had a lot to do with it. I'm seeing a lot more younger people, who've went to school when COVID was on, which must have been horrific. We don't think of it because we didn't go to school. I certainly didn't go to school of that area, of course. And to know what they went through, where they was told, imagine like, I've got nothing against conspiracy theorists, by the way. I don't know. So I'm of the idea where if I don't know, I don't know. But imagine like people full of fear and screaming like down the phone about, or to each other about, on Facebook, or doing Instagram posts about this is going to happen and this is then 5G is causing it and all that and etc. And different people have different opinions, while children were listening to their heroes and heroines who are adults and mums and dads, brothers and sisters, aunties and uncles, hearing them scream about we're all doomed, they're putting microchips in this, that, blah, blah, blah. Imagine hearing that as a child constantly. And the flip side of it, people were dying, and they did. Yeah. We can't deny that. And people were dying, and then they're saying they're not really dead. And imagine what that would do to a malleable mindset. Really? Yeah. So now we're dealing with the fallback. We're going to deal with the fallback. Mental health is only going to get worse. It is. So, if you, get with the program. Think about it, though. Yeah. Did you think there was no comeback from the war? Do you think there was no PTSD from the war?
Loads, isn't it?
And I understand people having conspiracies and things like that and being upset and not wanting the vaccine or having the vaccine. I get that. I get people, I don't know any answers. I can't sit on any side of the fence and say I'm right or wrong. But what I'm saying is, right, okay, whatever. But now we've got to deal with what the kids heard. Regardless if you're a conspiracy theorist or you're not, they've still heard things that weren't correct.
Yeah, definitely.
Facts. So that's that'll keep me in business for a while. Really will.
It's because it's interesting because I've got a couple of mates, right, that I think I'm lucky that I dodged this, because when I was in Australia, we had a minor over there. I think we had a couple of days or a week or two in Brisbane where we had to lock up, and the rest of it we were out. And because the weather was good, you'd just go for a run.
Funny enough, in England it was roasting.
Oh, was
One
it?
year, the summer, it was absolutely
so roasting. Everyone was outside of the park.
Yeah, all the Tories and that. Went for a party with Boris.
Yeah. But I was talking to my mate about it, and we said how, he goes, you know what, I did however long working from home. When I went to go see people at work or meet a client, I felt anxious to talk again.
Of course, yeah.
You're like, something it's been hardwired in you, for instance, for 30 years, and then you've had how long was COVID again? I can't remember.
A couple of years
where it was intense over here. And then you've come into the stage of feeling anxious to communicate.
I had a client who was deaf, or slightly deaf, the girl, and she used to lip read, but she was allowed back in school. But what did they have in schools? What did they wear?
Oh, masks.
She couldn't
She was screwed.
She couldn't communicate.
Yeah.
So she imagine her frustration.
Yeah.
She couldn't communicate. So she had to wear a mask, and she was stood around listening to people talk. Imagine the anxiety of it all.
Yeah.
These are kids, like talking about children, you know, who still believe in Santa Claus, and because he is real. So no, but you know what I mean. Who believe in Peppa Pig and all that, and then they're hearing this, and this. It was a terrible time. So you know, go easy on them. Yeah. You know, we need reassurance now more than any time in the world.
That's true.
We do. The world needs a reassurance saying, look, you know, we've got this, and unfortunately, we're human beings and we just don't get on very well at times, which is, I think, mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
Yeah. It's, it's gonna, the COVID area, even now though, like you said, like social media is so big right now that, say for instance, you were to go on a train, or how many people are actually looking up? They're all on their phones, and people don't interact as much anymore. Yeah. But I think the power of talking is like becoming less. Like,
yeah, of course.
Like actually talking and getting to know someone.
That's what I'm saying. Ring people.
Yeah, ring people. Yeah.
If you at a distance, ring people. There is fear, but there's always been fear. There's always been tyranny. So why are people surprised when there's tyranny? There's always been tyranny. I mean, all right, it's not true, but remember Robin Hood, like the sheriff of Nottingham, and he was a baddie. There's always been tyranny. Yeah. There's always been dictators. There's always been people that are greedy and who want to. It's not a new thing. Yeah. It's interesting when people say, oh, you know, they go on about, in my day, blah, 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 it's easier. I mean, right, but there's a very famous sketch by Monty Python team, and it's called The Four Yorkshiremen. And they were saying, you know, we lived in a lake. It was that we lived in a lake, under the water in a lake, you know, and just it went from we had it hard, and then they went to the extremes of like we used to eat hot gravel. Hot gravel, that was a luxury. We had cold gravel, so it's always gone on. People have always looked back and reminisced and gone, oh, it was tougher when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And like, they're all soft now. Yeah, it's like this, you know, the saying about trans and this and that and blah blah blah, and they and them, and they want to be called that. That's a minority. If they want to do that, fine. But it's a minority. It's not the majority. Yeah. I don't know anyone that says that or talks like that. If they want to do that, I genuinely don't care. Crack on.
I've never had an interaction
with it. But people put these things, and they're all like that. No, they're not.
But do you want to ask yourself, the question you want to ask yourself is it because you've got nothing going on in your life that you want to have a whinge to feel the need to feel important sometimes?
Well, the 1960s was flower power, love and peace. Then in the 70s, it was punk rock, anarchy. There's always going to be something. Yeah. There's going to be something for some younger people to click onto, to make them individual, to make them stand out. That's fine. If they want to do that, I ain't got a problem with people. Whatever. Fine, good. I'll still believe what I believe, so you're not going to change that. But I'm not out to change anyone's opinions. But it's a minority. Yeah. You know, it's the hippies were minority. Not everyone was a hippie. Not everyone was a punk rocker.
Yeah, true.
Mods and rockers, this, that, and
mods and rockers. My dad used to tell me about mods and rockers. That was What was he? Was a mod. Yeah, it was a good times. Yeah. Well, what were you in those? Well, you wasn't. I was
a little bit before my time. Yeah. But you know, I liked NWA. I had a cap, and I had Los Angeles Raiders hat and all that, and you know, and I like Eazy-E and Ice Cube and all that back in the day, you know, and I had a sort of swagger with. I mean, you know, I was certainly not a gangster, but I loved gangster rap when I was younger, so I had a swagger with it and all that sort of business. And then the raving come on, and people were taking it easy and all that sort of stuff. No, I was partial to them as well back in the day. Not gonna lie, but. It didn't end up taking them now and in your 50s and having them every day. So people, they'll put something on the mics up and they'll make it massive as if this is going to be the world. It's not. Yeah. Because that passed and that passed and that passed. You know what I mean?
It's fear-based to a lot of people though.
It's fear-based and also it's just that we focus on what we focus on.
Yeah. Our intentions go where our energy.
Yeah, well, thoughts go, energy flows. Yeah. Indeed, yeah.
What would you say, on, like, for instance, like you hear a lot of people talk about psychedelics and stuff like that, and totally, for some people use it for therapy. What are your thoughts on that stuff?
Oh, if that's the way, if it works for them, great. I'm against nothing. I'm against nothing. If people want to take, my friend has got a company in Holland. His name's Ash. He's English, but his name's Ash. Very, very nice guy. He's got a psychedelic company in Holland because it's legal in Holland.
Legal over there.
And when I've been over there and I've microdosed before, great, yeah, my focus was good. But I'm all right.
Yeah.
But I understand why. Ayahuasca, I know friends who've took that. I understand why, and more power to them. Whatever does, if you want to believe in God and believe in Buddha, Allah, whoever, I'm fine with it. As long as it's all right for you and it's making you feel better and you believe it and it makes you happy, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm not one of these, you should believe in this. I don't.
Don't pigeonhole yourself.
I don't pigeonhole. Like if people believe that Bill Gates is trying to do this and this, I don't know. I don't know.
Do what he wants to do if it's up to him.
It's like I don't know, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't go down that hole. I've got to deal with my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got things to do in here.
Yeah.
Out there, I don't really know. So I don't diss it. I don't disrespect it. I just go, okay. You know?
What is it any books that you're reading at the moment or anything you recommend? You're much of a reader?
Yes, I'm into cognitive or behavioural therapy at the moment. I love that. I really love it. I got a great therapist called Hannah from Straight Talking Therapy. Shout out to her. She's great. And she's put me into some books which I love. This is not really for worldwide reading, but Julie Smith, How Has No One Told Me This Before? Which is very good. I think that's the way, but it's Dr. Julie Smith. Tara Swart, who was on Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. I love him. I think he's great. I like him.
You like him?
Yes. I'd like to go on that podcast. That's one obviously, now I've been on yours. But I'd like to go on that because I've got a lot of things to share, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tara Swart book's good. But I've got 3 books now I've got 3 books to read. I'm putting pressure on myself on purpose.
Yeah,
I've got 3 books to read before I bring my own out. I'm going to bring one out called The Shoreman Solution, The Challenge, which is a manual of, it starts you off on the path. It doesn't create massive. It might do. So I don't know. But that's the next thing I'm working on. So I've got to read them books.
Class, mate.
And I've got to read it. Got to bring my own book out.
Amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to when that book comes out.
You'll get a copy.
Appreciate that. Well, man, look, I always ask all my clients before we wrap up, just what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for you, for bringing me here, for the opportunities to do this podcast and to talk about what I do. I'm grateful to the guy telling me about his ultramarathon thing. Yeah. I'm grateful to all my clients. I'm grateful to the people that are surround me, who I talk to every day. I'm grateful for everything. Feet, fingers, my cap, because my hair's a mess. No, I'm grateful to everything. My trainers, my 2 trainers, Jake and Carl. 3 trainers, Jake, Carl and Callum. All young lads dedicated to the cause. I'm grateful to be a commentator. I'm grateful for everything. You know, grateful to have such a beautiful dog.
Mate, I was going to bring the dog up earlier.
I love dogs.
Yeah, I'm a dog massive. I got a King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, I love them.
What have you got?
I had one.
You had it?
I've got a cockaleer, cross between a cavalier and a cockapoo. What's a cavalier and a
Cockapoodle?
A cocker spaniel.
Cocker spaniel,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
They're good dogs, aren't they?
You know what? I love dogs. But you know what it is, mate? I'm grateful to you. I'm not one bit because it's this, you know, because it's here, or you go and you know this guy's name, or this is a. No, I'm grateful to be able to sit and talk and be in the presence of someone that's doing good things. You're doing good things for the world. You're passing out knowledge, and you never know what you might say can change somebody's life. And I believe that totally. And more power to you, and respect to you, and respect to everything that you do.
Thank you, brother. That means a lot.
That's only the honesty.
Appreciate that. It means a lot, and I'm actually really grateful because just the thought that the you know where you've been and what you've done, you still are the same person regardless.
Never change.
I never exactly, but I mean that gives. If anyone's listening out, you know, with the title "The World's Best,"
yeah,
maybe they can hear this and go, maybe they take that title down and they just be them.
Yeah, don't. But if it's for entertainment purposes and you feel that way, great. But I know you're lying.
Yeah.
So I think to be a mindset coach or anything like that, sort yourself out first. Work on you daily every day, working, getting better, improving, and just be kind to people. Be all right to people, and be all right to yourself, and you'll find that will work. You're nice to yourself, nice to others. I think that's a remedy for everything, if I'm honest.
That's the answer to the world, I think.
I think so, sir.
Thank you so much, Vin.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk is only. Don't just talk it, walk it. Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk is only. Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk is only.